She was a DEI hire.
Apparently, they feel, or a lot of Democrats feel, they have to stick with her because of her ethnic background.
I think she was a DEI hire, and I think that that's what we're seeing.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. Okay, folks, for many years, people believed that black people were the majority of those that benefited from the affirmative action programs. So in this video, I'm gonna show you the truth. I'm gonna point out who really benefited from these set-aside programs and set-aside business loans. Ever since Vice President Kamala Harris started running for president, this issue has been coming up. Those who oppose her have started with this old agenda calling her a DEI hire. So what I wanted to say is this: I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, but it seems to me that the far right are usually the ones saying these stereotypical things about black people. And I don't understand why they do this. And one of their tactics for many, many, many years was to bring up affirmative action to diminish the accomplishments of black people.
Certainly no one of us would challenge government's right and its responsibility to eliminate discrimination in hiring or education. But in its zeal to accomplish this worthy purpose, government orders what is in effect a quota system, both in hiring and in education. They don't call it a quota system. It's an affirmative action program.
There are two things we need to know about affirmative action. One, that it mostly applies to businesses that have contracts with the government or are receiving government funds or working for the government. So that's about 25% of all businesses. That means 75% of businesses in this country do not have to meet any quotas. Second, these programs were designed to ensure that qualified people were given equal opportunity, not this narrative that people try to push out there that it gives unqualified people opportunities and jobs. That's not it. The whole purpose of these policies was to promote diversity and inclusion and to ensure access to resources. That's all it was all about, to give people a fair chance based on merit. That didn't happen in the past. Now look at the list of all the people who are eligible to receive benefits from the affirmative action programs. Now look at this list right here, folks. We got minorities, women, disabled people, veterans, economically disadvantaged people, gay people, tribal people, religious affiliations, immigrants, refugees, underrepresented groups. Now, as you can see, these policies were not just for black people only. Now, this was a major mistake with black leaders. They failed to isolate black people's interests during the civil rights movement. This was a major mistake. By allowing black people to be lumped into this broad category called minority, quotas could be met without ever doing anything for black people. And that's what I'm gonna show you in this video. They have done nothing for black people, but created this narrative that black people had received all this special treatment and handouts, while it was other groups in the minority category getting the benefits. And this is not hate towards other groups who receive these benefits. This just is about making sure the right perception is out there, because the wrong perception has been out there.
On its face, affirmative action is discrimination. If I'm looking through a list of applicants and I go, well, that one's black, let's put them at the top of the list. Even though they don't have the same requirements met, they don't have the same standards met, they're still at the top of the list, and I'd hire them before I hire another white person. That's discrimination.
Let's look at set-aside business loans, where banks benefit from giving business loans to anybody on the list of these categories. So let's look at this. White women. See, a white banker can hire his daughter or give her a set-aside business loan and meet the bank's quotas. European immigrants, people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jim Carrey, Mel Gibson. These people can receive all these business loans. You can go to any urban area right now and you'll see non-born Americans owning all the businesses like liquor stores, just any business, restaurants. Other American-born minorities, other immigrants. I mean, you can go to any hood and see who owns the tire shops, the 7-Elevens, the hotels, the motels, the nail shops, the laundromats. This is not because black people doesn't stick together. This is because they got the benefits of these programs. Period. Now, nobody want to say that, but it's the truth. Individuals with religious affiliations, veterans. See, black men didn't receive a lot. You see the percentages? So look at that list. You can see how many white people qualify for affirmative action loans, affirmative action incentives. I mean, if you factor in the percentage of veterans and disabled people that might be white, that means that over 50% of set-aside loans went to white people. But the sad part is that most people think black people receive these things, that the majority was black people. And this is because, you know, the majority of the media stories about affirmative action, for decades, they always featured a black person was featured in it, and mostly a black man. They started this in the 1970s doing this. So the perceptions was wrong from the beginning, okay? They try to paint this picture that there's not a lot of black-owned businesses in the community because black people don't stick together. It's not true. It's just not true. It's a flat-out lie. The system was set up economically to force black people out of competition. How can you compete if others are getting the benefits that your ancestors fought for? So the next time someone bring up this issue, you send them this video to shut them up. Please do that. Anyway, that's it for this video. Stay tuned for the next video. Until next time, peace.